Hi, Bob Conrad here. This video will be on how to create a header sheet. And since the AccuTuner 980 has all these pages of memory, it can be a little bit of a head scratch to get the numbering all correct. And that is because the AccuTuner's extra memory, and actually it's lower memory too, all works in what they are calling banks of memory. So when you look at the pages up here in the extra memory section, you see banks, and each bank is 140 tunings. Even a SAT file, which is the lower memory, has 140 pages. It has 122 tunings, and then these special pages here actually make up a total of 140. So this file here is a library file, and library files do not have the special pages. So you can see here at page 140 in the library file, there's a tuning on there. Again, the difference is that you can't store tunings to these. This one is the overpull, and I've got a separate overpull I have in mind, and I've programmed in, and these are my sequences, and there are some temperaments I left in there, and also some other things, and of course the PTG exam. But on the library files, it doesn't have that. And this is another library file down here, and you can also see another 140 pages of just tunings. So when you go to work with your Piano Manager here, and you want to create a header sheet so that when you're out and about, you know which tuning is on which page. The AccuTuner itself, the page numbers are consecutive. So page 1 is page 1, page 20 is page 20, page 250 is page 250, and so forth. They are consecutively numbered in the AccuTuner, but in Piano Manager, they're made up of banks of 140. So we need to combine the headers in the Piano Manager headers, and then combine them. So that's what this, and then create a header sheet that has the numbering right, so that we'll see page 250, 725, 800, or whatever it happens to be. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to assume that you've done, that you have your own files from your own AccuTuner. Like I said, all I have to do is plug in an AccuTuner and use the USB command and read the tunings and pull them out into a file here. So if you're moving to a 980 and you have an AccuTuner 3 or something, you want to put those tunings in the upper memory or even in the lower memory, it doesn't matter. But if you have more than 122, you're going to want the numbers in the upper memory to start on 141. And so all of these tunings that are going into the upper memory, the extended memory of the AccuTuner, that's what this is. This should be 141, not 100. And this should be 280, not 101, and so forth. This one should be whatever, 140, and it's 320, whatever that would be. So these are the numbers, but in the Piano Manager, they start over at 1 and go to 140 and then start over again. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is combine all of these headers into a single notepad file. And the way we do that is we highlight them all in this first file. So I highlight the first one, then I use this Control-A command on my keyboard, and then File, and then Print. But I'm not going to print them on a piece of paper. I'm going to print to File. Okay, and then when I print them, and I've already done this. So what it's asking for is I would name it and then click Save. Okay, well I've already done that, and this is the one, SAT file to print. Remember I said this was a SAT file. Okay, so I've already done that, so click out of this, and I did the same thing with this one. Put your mouse pointer there, all, File, Print, and then make sure you click the Print to File box, and then OK, print, and it'll say where do you want to put it. And again, I've done this. This is the bank 2, so I'm not going to do it again. And then here we go with the last one. Highlight the first one and click All, and then File, and then Print, and print to file. All right. Okay, and then print, but we're not going to cancel that. We don't need to do that a third time. Okay, so we have all of these all three of these, the headers in them have all been copied to a folder on the computer, and it will contain their notepad files, and we're going to combine them. So I'm going to go to that folder, and the first one I'm going to open is the SAT file, because that's the one I want to put it first. So that'll be the first group, okay? So there they are, and I don't need these special pages, so I need to delete these. So highlight them all, and then delete, and then we're down to 122. Open the second bank, and then again, highlight, Control A, and then copy, and then paste. And you don't need this one here. Oh, print that, that's just the name of the folder. And if you want to go back and look, you can scroll back and you see, okay, the first group was 122. Now we've got the second group right there tucked in behind it. And I'm going to close that. And then we want to add the third bank. So open the third bank here. And then again, put your mouse pointer at the top, Control A, and then copy. And then go to the bottom, put your mouse pointer there, and then Control V, and that copies the last group into this WordPad file. Okay. And let's see where the final, okay, here's a break in here. Okay, so all of those tunings from those three pages, not the tunings, I'm sorry, but the headers for all three of those. This is the way we want them to appear in the AccuTuner. That's the way they're going, the header sheet, so we know which page everything is on. So I'm going to close this out. We're done with that, and we don't need this anymore. So it's this group right here that I want to put into a spreadsheet. So pretty simple. I open up a spreadsheet, which I already have one open over here. So open up, this is Excel. And so I have, I want to copy. Again, put your mouse pointer there, Control A, and then you can copy. And then paste, put it here, and then right copy and paste. That's all there is to it. Okay, so now you've got, I can close this out. I don't need that anymore. I don't want to name it. So now we have all the tunings from those three header sheets now in the spreadsheet. The reason we put them in the spreadsheet is we want to clean up some of the data in there. First of all, I don't want this number. Numbering is the main thing we're going to be wanting to change. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of these numbers at the front of each of these headers. Okay, you see they're throughout. All right, well, there's a formula we can use for that. And here's the formula right here. Now, if you want to jot that down or write that down, it's an easy one to enter in and to understand and to use. So, and you can use this whenever you're creating these spreadsheets. Just you can come back to this video course, but if you write these down, and okay, you want to use that plus, pardon me, the equal sign, and then the word right. And then a print, there's no spaces in this except for right there, that's a space. But other than that, there's no spaces. So it's right, and then a open parentheses, and then this D5, and you can see right here, this is a formula. When I click on this, it's a formula. Okay, it's not like this, which, oh, that's a formula too. We'll get to that. Okay, but see, this is a text and numbers and all that, but this is a formula. So what we're seeing here is the result of that formula. And so right now, you want to enter this formula in, but in this cell here. So I will do that and show you. Right, I'm going to put the caps key on. Okay, right. Oops, forgot. Need to have the equals, and now right. And then parentheses. And then the D5 is this cell, whatever cell I'm modifying. You might be having yours on E5 or whatever you put it. Maybe you start at the top. Doesn't matter, but you can select whatever cell that is and then click on it with the mouse, and it puts that in there. It puts that cell address in there. And then the comma, very important. And then len, L-E-N, and then parentheses, and then again, D5. And you can either type D5, which I just did, or you could click on the cell again, whichever you want to do. Okay, then parentheses. and now minus, and then search, and then parentheses, open. And then here's where the space comes in. You need to use a quote, and then a space, hit the space bar, and then another quote, and then a comma, and then again, D5, we're referring to this cell, so D5, and then 2 closing parentheses. Okay, and so that got rid of those 3 numbers right there. Seems like a lot of trouble to go through for those. But anyway, that's the way that works. Okay, so now we want to copy this down to the rest of the, okay, well, let's go ahead. I'll erase this from now just to show you how this looks. Okay, so this is the way your sheet will look at the moment. And so you have this formula correctly entered in right there. So that's what you want. So you want to copy that down to all these other cells so that it will do the same thing to all these other cells. So use the copy, and I use the Control-C, and then here, and then I'm going to, in order to do all, I don't want to do one at a time, but I'm going to use the, I'm holding the Shift key down, and I'm going over to that cell, and then I'm going to use the end down arrow, end key and the down arrow, and that stops it and tells me, and then I move it over so that I get it out of the areas I don't want to copy, and then I press the enter bar, and that's how all of that gets copied over. Okay, you see now all of these tunings, all these headers no longer have those that three digit bank number. Okay, getting closer. All right, and the other thing, now let's go down and take a look-see at all these. All right, even these tunings, by the way, in the middle here are from, I believe, Randy Potter. And these were the ones that have been installed in the AccuTuner's protected area forever, as far as I know, not forever, but for a long time. And so these are also included in the AccuTuner 4 980. If you like them, they're also on the disc that came with your AccuTuner. And anyway, these are the tunings that are in there. So it's not like you don't get these. It's just like they're in a different place. So, but anyway, you can see those are the headers. And again, we're just messing with headers. We're not affecting tunings. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do, I noticed this when I was looking at these, and this is a purely cosmetic thing. You can leave this step out if you like, but all these uneven spaces, and this is such an easy thing to fix with a spreadsheet. So there's a little, what Microsoft or Windows has, what they call a trim command. Okay, and so this trim command allows me to get rid of all the extra spaces. So I have, you see up here in this cell, it says Schimmel. Oops, I want to correct that spelling. I wonder if I can do it here. Let's see. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, notice how I fixed it on all of those. Okay. Anyway, this Schimmel 213, these aren't in any particular order. It doesn't matter now. This is just to show you how this works with the spreadsheet. Okay. The Schimmel, as you will see, notice when I changed this one, it moved. It changed because it's a formula. Okay, and you see trim 5. Well, and this one it just says the only difference is the F6, and then this will be F7, F8, okay? So it's just going back to what's in F7 and trimming it. And then this one's trimming what's in F8, this one's trimming in F9, and so forth. So let's go ahead and I'll clear this out. And I'll show you how this works. I can copy this down. It's an easy formula to type in. We'll go ahead and type that in if you like. Okay, equal sign. And then trim, T-R-I-M, and then a parentheses, and then we'll use this cell, select it with our mouse, and then a closing parentheses. Let's see what we get. Oh, wrong. What did I miss? Okay, that should be, let's do it again. G-R-I-M, parentheses. There we go. Okay, so now I know that's correct. And so now let's just copy it down like we did. We want to apply that same treatment to all the headers. So I want to copy, and I'm using the Control Copy key on the keyboard. And then now I want to use that cell to stop it. And there we have the places that I want to copy down to. And now you can see all the spaces have been tidied up. And you'll see this mostly down here in these tunings. Look at how much neater this looks, because the spaces haven't got all this stuff going on here. And also it saves you room in the header. And the header sheet in the header space in the AccuTuner is a limited sort of number of cells or letters that you can use. So that will save you a little space in there. All right. So now we have a pretty nice looking header. Now let's just see if we can get some numbers going in this. All right. But the first thing I want to do before I get into numbers, as I said, all of these, this is a formula. This is a formula. This is a formula. Okay, so we want, I don't know if I made any changes there. Let me copy this down to get copy. Oops. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Whoops, put it on the wrong line. Oh man. Okay, now copy. Okay, now that should take care of it. Those are all trimmed up. Everything looks good. All right, so the next step is, since these are all formulas here, you see there are formulas in the window there. And what we're seeing is the result of the formula. So we want to change that. We want to change all these formulas into a value. Okay, so the first thing we do is we copy all of those. And you need copy here, copy. And then I'm going to put the cell pointer there, and then right click and paste values. Okay, now you see this is not a formula anymore. It is a value. Okay, those of you who do spreadsheets, this is so mundane. You think, good grief, doesn't everybody know that? But anyway, there we are. Okay, so now we have a good header sheet, but we still need to get the numbering correct. So I have, I don't know how many of you know how to do this. There's another little formula. But our page numbers in the upper memory start with 141. So let's just enter that in there. That'll be the first page. And now we're going to use another little formula. And so we don't have to, this is an easy way to do it. I want the next box to be 142. So I can create a formula. I hit this key. And then I select, okay, I want it that plus 1. And then we have 142. That's going to be the next page. So now I want to copy that all the way down. Copy. Okay. Never fails. Copy that down to there. Okay, so that is all I need to do. Now the next thing, this formula here is the one that's going to combine the two things. I want the 141 number to be combined with the Schimmel information. So it's just a matter of combining two cells. And here's how the spreadsheet formula will work to do that. Basically, hit the equals, and then I want to combine first what was in this cell, J5, and then the ampersand will combine whatever's in this cell, I5. And that's all there is. So just press enter, and that's that. But that looks kind of funky. I don't, that you couldn't read that if that was, the numbers are too close to start. So we need some spaces. if I want to show you how that looks, I can copy it down a little bit. Won't need to copy too many times, but you'll see what I mean. That's not a good look. Okay, it's too confusing. So we need to add some spaces. So it's very easy. You just add, notice how the ampersand combines these two cells? Well, we're going to combine some spaces, and that's with the quotes with the spaces in between. However many spaces you want in there, you can put 3 spaces, 4 spaces, 5 spaces, or whatever you want to put in there. And it will add that, and then it'll combine it with the other information. So we're combining now J5, which J5, we're combining this cell, that's J5, and then with the ampersand, that's combining. Then we're going to use the quotes, and that'll be how many spaces, and then it's going to combine the information from over here in I5. Okay, you got it? So let's enter a formula in here. This will be equals, and this will be, I'll just use the mouse pointer, this, and then ampersand, and now I want to use the quotes, and I think I used 3 spaces, and now another quote, and then whatever is in this cell. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, didn't work. Well, anyway, I'm pressing keys wrong and trying to show you how to do this. And, okay, equals. And we're going to do what's in J, and then ampersand, and then quote, and then 1, 2, 3, quote, ampersand, and then I5. And then enter. There we go. Okay, so now, and I'll go ahead and delete these just to show you this is a copy thing. So now I want to copy this down to all of these cells. And there you have it. And here's what our new header will look like. Okay. Okay, but now, see, it's formula, it's a formula, it's a formula, it's a formula. It's a formula, oops. Formula, all these are formulas. So we need to change those into values. Otherwise, Word won't be able to read the formula. It's a word processor. So we need to get this into a plain old text as opposed to not formula. So we want to copy them. So highlight. Right click, copy, and you can just right click, but I want to put it over here. So right click and then paste values, and there we have it. Okay, so now these are all, as you see up here, these are no longer formulas. They are headers that can gobbled up by the AccuTuner and by your header sheet, I mean, okay? So now all of this is done. So here's your header sheet. Now we're going to copy this into a Word file. So right, and then copy. Okay, now we open up a Word file. Okay. And choose a blank document. And also no spacing. Okay, you don't want any spacing. And then as far as the next thing you want to do is set the margins. So the margins I use are the narrow margins. And then once you get that done, then where the cursor is, right click and then paste. Okay, and this might be the way it might look. And you say, well, that's a mess. Well, yes, it is. And I'll show you how to fix that. This is a font size thing is all this is. So put your mouse pointer up near the top. Then Control-A, that'll highlight everything. And then right-click on it, and then go up here to this little box, and that'll be your font sizes. So as you go on top of one, you'll see how they change. So let's go with the largest one that seems to work, and that's 11. So let's click on 11. And now if you wanted to, let's change the font. Let's make it bold. Ooh. And you want to change into some other kind of type. But like I said, the fonts affect the type, so you can sort of play with that and get it. Then you might have to make it smaller or something. But Calibri, at this 10 or 11 will work. If you want to change the color, you can change it, make it blue, make it purple, make it green, make it red, whatever you want to do here is up to you. I'll stick with black just because. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Now you have your header sheets, and let's get down into here to make sure we haven't got any complications anywhere. And your header sheet is finished. Now, all you need to do is copy this, save this folder, name it, and save it into your Google Drive folder. So let's do that. File, Save As, and my Google Drive folder is over here. So let's call it New Header Sheet, since I've already done this. New head, whoops. No, I don't want that. I want New Header Sheet. There we go. So there we go. And then that will do it. Okay, you're all done. I'm done. Now, in a few minutes, it will eventually, your Google Drive folder will upload this to, you have to be connected to the internet, of course, but your Google Drive folder will upload, will connect, will sync this, I guess is the word, to the cloud. And so when in a few minutes, when you go to your phone and open up the open up the Google app and go into the recent files, you will eventually find a file in there with the name New Header Sheet. And of course you can name it however you want. And then that will tell you, then you can look at that and find, okay, if you wanted to tune a Kawai G2 that happened to be this one here, you've got page 314. So go to 314, and in the AccuTuner, if you did everything right getting to here, everything should all match up. So before you take it out, I recommend also making sure these numbers match up with exactly what you think it does in the AccuTuner. Okay, these tunings down here are just, like I said, it's just names of stuff for now. And yours will be totally different because of what you have in your AccuTuner. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been a little bit of help, and I also hope you enjoyed my mistakes, so you can see that how this works and how to get things done. So, okay, thanks.